Hello there, YouTube. How the hell are you? My name is Vac, and we're here in this video to take an in-depth look at another one of Crowfall's races, the High Elf. The High Elf is a pretty interesting race. Has some ups and downs like any other. It seems to be pretty well balanced. And let's talk about their highs and lows right now. They get a plus 30 bonus to intellect, which is not a large number of bonus statistics compared to some races. Nevertheless, 30 intellect really is right in line with what these guys are good at, and that's mostly going to be ranged magic DPS, but we'll get into all that when we start talking about classes. Statistically, their caps, they are above average for dexterity and intellect, they are below average for strength and constitution, and they are right at the baseline on spirit. So they'll do okay as a healer. They'll probably not stand up very well as any kind of frontline combatant, however, with the low constitution and strength. So these guys are not frontliners. These are guys that you're going to use for classes that are going to stand in the back and hurl fire or frost at people, pretty much. So let's get to looking at it. They have some passive granted powers and one active. So let's have a look here. They have acrobatics, which is a passive that is pretty nice, actually. This really adds to their mobility. Acrobatics, what it does essentially is, and we have no idea exactly what percentage it is, but there is a chance to instantly restore one dodge power every time you dodge roll. And their dodge roll is just like humans, in fact. It's not as impressive as, say, the Wood Elf, but what this does mean is that when you dodge roll with a High Elf, you have a chance to immediately get a pip back and get it for free, essentially. Like that one right there. We got that one for free. And so while they only have a 10-meter dodge roll and 2 pips, just like a human or any of the other baseline races, they are able to dodge more often than anyone else because of this passive. And that's fairly useful for their mobility. Beyond that, they have the Hauteur passive, which is an increased critical damage amount, and that is exactly 5% crit damage. So again, this lends well to them playing ranged caster classes along with their intellect. That just dovetails nicely into that lane, which is where they really sit. Vanity is a passive increase to elemental resistance. It's only a 500 increase to elemental resistance, but which is not as nice as, say, the Wood Elves 1000 bonus to nature, but this is all elements, so it's really kind of better, right? It's a better all-around resistance stat for RVR. Mental Fortitude is pretty nice. Mental Fortitude is going to passively reduce the power efficiency, or increase your power efficiency statistic by 10%. Which means that basically your attack powers are going to cost you less. So this is one more thing that kind of puts them in that ranged DPS magic lane. And they do a pretty good job of it. They're a pretty good class to choose for that role. And then lastly, they have the Humiliate active ability, which mocks an enemy, because they're haughty High Elves. And what that does is it increases the enemy's power cost multiplier by 15% for 30 seconds, and it makes the enemy pay more money, more power for their abilities. So somewhat useful. I don't necessarily know if it's necessarily going to make everybody's bar, but it's an option, and it's not a terribly bad one. Anything in a 1v1 fight, things like that can sway the difference. Can be the difference. So anyway, let's go take a quick look at what classes they can play. Okay, so here we are at the character selection screen, and you can see here that High Elves are able to play Assassin, Confessor, Frostweaver, and Knight. They'll make a decent Assassin with their high dex statistic, but honestly, and they're not going to make a very good Knight at all. I don't think they're a great choice for that. You can certainly make it work, especially with good gear and if you're not too competitive in RVR, but I don't see how they're going to be a good Knight choice. everything that they have, from the high intellect to the granted powers, everything seems to dovetail nicely into playing either Confessor or Frostweaver, which is basically fire and ice. And those are your two ranged magic DPS classes. And especially if you go the appropriate specs. I don't necessarily know that they're going to be a great healing Frostweaver or even tanking Frostweaver, but if you go full-on Fanatic Confessor, or I can't remember the name of the damage, Frostweaver, this would be a great choice for either one. This is a race that lends itself well to standing in the back of the crowd and hurling damage into the enemy. And I think you're going to find that they're going to do well at that. They're going to do very well at that. They're going to be a top tier choice for that lane. And I think that's going to play out for most of the life of the game, at least until things change. Right now in the beta, these guys are a really good choice for that. So that pretty much wraps up our look at the High Elf. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today, and I'll see you out in the RBR zones. If you like what you've seen in this video, we'd love it if you can give us a like or a subscribe. It helps us grow, helps us get more eyeballs on the channel, and we'd appreciate it. If you'd like to join our gaming community or our guild, Reckoning, you can do so with some links in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that there as well. So thanks for watching. Till I see you guys again, be cool, keep gaming. I'm Vac, and I'm out of here.